Okay, guys, this is going to be my review of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I like this film. I think it's probably my third favorite Harry Potter film that I've seen, right behind Goblet of Fire and Prisoner of Azkaban. But I liked it, particularly the final act when they go to London, I believe, and they go search for for the well, I forgot what they were searching. I think they said it was like a prophecy or something, or something like that. Like that ball, the glow ball thing, and then he ends up running into reaffirming Lucius Malfoy to be kind of a real bad guy in the series. But it was also cool to see Voldemort come back, and that epic duel between Voldemort and Dumbledore was like, I didn't know I wanted that, but seeing it was like, woo, it was great. And I think I kind of like the stuff with Harry training the other wizards. I think that was interesting. Like this idea of they're becoming like less of a school and more of like a prison that they have to kind of navigate through and train and all that stuff. And you really dive into a bunch of different wizards beyond just the normal trio. You get to see Cho, or the Asian one, or you get to see Ron's brother twins, and his sister, and you got to see that little shy wizard, whatever. So I guess diving into the different wizards was interesting, and I think part of the I thought it was funny that that girl that kind of took over, who was hired by the ministry to kind of run the school, that was crazy. That was pretty crazy, and it was frustrating, and it made when she got taken by those trolls or whatever, that tall troll type guy, dwarf guy, whatever, in the Minotaurs, that made it so worth it, because you could see he's just there's kind of like the middle is almost like one big montage sequence, I feel like, of them training them, then of them doing all the stuff with the girl, and she making all the rules and that type of stuff, with them making the rules to add to the Hogwarts, and then Harry training them, then them getting in trouble, adding more rules, Harry training them, getting more rules, and then the struggle to train them. Then there might be kind of an emotional scene where Harry's talking, for example, Harry's talking to Cho, because Cedric was her boyfriend, and Harry and Cho get together, and and just developing the characters was interesting. Meanwhile,
Hey, oh, sorry.
go.
I'm looking for something, and this is my room.
Close the door. Close the door. Continue. So adding all that stuff was cool. But the middle was a little bit, a lot slower paced. But I think the beginning was cool with the whole the wizard courtroom scene. I think the opening was great with the Dementors and kind of having to going to court because of that. So I think there's a lot to enjoy. I think the stuff about the horse and Harry getting all those visions was actually pretty cool. And kind of really diving into Voldemort in Harry's kind of almost like a chess game of sorts, where they're constantly making moves and moves and moves, trying to just get ahead of each other and kind of really battle in that sort of sense. So I think there was a lot to enjoy about this film, but at the same time there's a lot to say maybe that didn't work, or of sorts, where it's I don't really it's 2 hours and 19 minutes, but when you think about what about this film would deem a runtime, even this, it's not, compared to the other Harry Potter films, it's the shortest runtime. but even to this film, it's like what I don't think it like needs to be this one time period. I think, but the stuff with Voldemort was great, and I love seeing Sirius Black there. So there is a lot to enjoy, and I think the cast is great, and I think kind of the story of just having to train the wizards and trying to fight them for Voldemort, but yet they struggle to do that with like the Ministry running everything. This ugly dumb woman trying to cover it all up. But I think on that note, they kind of like, it was weird how they kind of ended that kind of plot line with the whole Ministry woman, because all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, let's take her away from the film with no explanation why is she this mean, why is she this cruel. And I think the most frustrating part was like she made Harry write no more lies, and it was like, it's not a lie, Voldemort was there. But I kind of like this building up of a kind of a rebellion with like Harry and the other wizards. But I love the part. One of my favorite parts of the film, I will say that the best part is Voldemort versus Dumbledore, and that great shot where it's like Harry on the floor with like all the dust and glass, and then it just rises. The whole stuff with Voldemort and Dumbledore is great. But another great part was minutes earlier, where they're running through the things with the glass balls, whatever, I forgot what they were called, with like the whole gang, where it's like Harry, Hermione, Ron, his brothers, the sister Ginny, then the blonde girl, and then that other the scared wizard guy. Yeah, I think that was cool. Seeing them, and that cool was like, it was like in a dark room with Dementors, or not Dementors, but Voldemort followers behind them, and then the whole thing with Lucius Malfoy, and then Sirius Black and Dumbledore saving them. The Sirius Black getting, I guess, killed or something. So I think there's a lot to enjoy. Fluttered throughout this film. I think more good than bad by every sense of the imagination. I think this definitely elevated the series even more and gave a lot of depth, just in general, to this series. Just in general. By adding not necessarily new characters. Yes, they added the girl, but by just adding depth to the other characters that we already know about, and then showing like that kind of mysterious kind of gang group, and then Dumbledore on the court, and then Harry's flashbacks, or more like previsions, So I think all that was interesting. I think it's hard for me to talk about this film because I'm trying to think like moments that I enjoy, but I guess in some ways it's kind of a struggle. But I think I like the stuff mainly because like the majority of the film, which is kind of like the middle of the film, is very much like a montage sequence of sorts, where it's like you get but once they kind of go to the room where they're in like the house trying to save Mr. Weasley. I think like it really picked up from there. But I think like the stuff with Sirius and Harry made Sirius's sacrifice pretty emotional and pretty crazy. So I'll be interested to see where the series goes. I'm probably one for a quarter through Half-Blood Prince, and things have already surprised me, really. So with Lucius probably dead, and the girl escaping, and I think like that, the whole stuff with like the giant snake coming out. So that final sequence, that final probably 30 minutes where they go to that London tower and they're trying to save, not just to save anything, but just trying to stop the evil Voldemort and Lucius and that girl. Just all that stuff with Dumbledore and Sirius joining, them getting captured, running through the hallways, seeing the girl where she has the green fire and she escapes. All that stuff was great. I think that's definitely a standout moment. That, and then the opening sequence with the Dementors at the park just felt like that creepy horror feeling to it. Then the courtroom was great. Dumbledore having to prove his case, and I think the stuff with the girl, that kind of girl, master, the girl who kind of takes charge of the school, was a little bit weird because like it felt a little bit out of place, but not that it was only out of place, but that they didn't go anywhere with it. It was like, yeah, the school is run by a whole new wizard, weird girl person. But then all of a sudden they train the wizards, and then they go, and then she gets captured, and then that's it. It's not like there's like that plot line does not connect to the overall story with Voldemort. I don't believe. Maybe she comes back in something, and then that affects this. But really, it doesn't feel like that. As far as this film, doesn't leave you to believe that this girl, that girl teacher, has any effect on what is really going on. Where it's like that subplot gets solved right before the last third of the film. Where it's like it seems to be the main plot line, but then it becomes a subplot when all of a sudden, they just get away, and then the final act is just them trying to get the ball. But it's just weird. It was weird, the whole stuff with the girl in the pink dress and all that stuff. It was weird because it's like it didn't overall, when you look at the film overall, it didn't have that much effect on what was really going on. The only effect was Harry needs to train the wizards in a different spot instead of, like, it added something to where does Harry train the wizards? Well, this is where they train the wizards, and so it was definitely it was weird that, like, Harry had to train the wizards, yet it was just weird, that whole stuff, because it's not like maybe she would come back in the final act, maybe she would turn out to be working for Voldemort, but as far as that is concerned in this film, that never happened. She's just someone who, wants to cover things up, just someone who works for the Ministry, not something that has any effect on what's really going on in this film about Voldemort, about finding that kind of globe. None of that had any effect on what she's doing. It just gave another hurdle for our characters, for Harry, for Hermione, for Ron, and stuff. So that was a little bit interesting, but weird at the same time. But yeah, overall, I like this film. I think it is the third best Harry Potter film. I mean, I've liked all of the Harry Potter films. They're all enjoyable. It's just which one's more enjoyable and which one's more just pumped up than others. So yeah, stay tuned for our videos coming at you.